All right, so in this video, I'm going to do a quick video on some basic tips on how to cut out the ovals set. Now, of course, the ovals are created as a nesting set, which means they fit right inside of each other. So for example, if I had designed my page, like you see here, and I used number 6 on this side and number 5 on this side, and then of course, number 4, and so forth. Now, depending on what colors you would want these cut out of, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take all of these pieces, right? They all nest inside of each other. And you could take a before picture if you're worried about like pulling them all apart and be like, how did I have that laid out? I just recommend taking a quick little before picture, then you don't have to stress about it. Now, in this case, I would actually choose to cut out number 5 and number 6 together. That would give me that balance. And then I probably would choose to cut out, possibly, there's 2 ways you could approach this, 4 and 3 in a different pattern. Now, if you're using double-sided paper, that really is gonna come in handy, excuse me, so that you can do them all together. So let's go ahead and do that, where I'm gonna trace out all of them together. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay on my page here, I'm gonna trace number 6, the outside edge, like so, and then I'm gonna trace the inside, okay? And it doesn't matter what side of the paper you trace this on. I could have chose to trace it out on the less busier pattern, if that's helpful for you. In this case, for the next one, I'm just gonna place that inside, but I only have to trace out the inside of the ovals. And then I'll place the other one, and then hold on to that one, trace the inside, and then trace the inside of this one. This is as many as I used on this specific page that I had laid out here and designed. So now I'm just gonna place those to the side, right? And if you're using a full 12 by 12 sheet of paper, I just go ahead and recommend that you kind of do the outside of that design. You don't have to be as completely on point with the tracing lines, but the goal is to detach it, in other words, okay? So now that I've detached it from the larger sheet, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the outside cut of my largest oval. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that out, like so. And you're just doing quick shortcuts. All right, and so when I recommend quick shortcuts, whenever you hear us say that, basically what we're implying is that we're not closing our scissors. So for example, I'm not going, right? I'm sticking to the back ends of my scissors and I'm just doing quick shortcuts like that, okay? Just a little bit smoother and not so choppy. Now, here's the little kicker. So you notice that over on this side, right, I had that larger number 6 oval, and I had my photos, you know, placed in the middle of it. I love doing that. Such a fun design. And so with that, usually often it provides a place that you're adding some type of layer. Somewhere you can add a little button, or in this case, most likely I'll have the photos laid over it in this bottom corner, or the briar crescent in this bottom corner. So that's where I'm gonna just go ahead and make a snip. And I'm gonna snip right into the next inside line and then start my cut. This is pretty much 98% of the time how I choose to cut out any type of nesting designer templates, whether it's the ovals, rings, triangles, whatever nesting. We might have a few other different sets, right, that have this kind of design feature. And so what I'll do is I'll just cut that out. And then again, either usually if you could just add a little bit of adhesive and you'll know no different. Or again, it's usually covered by something. So either way, it keeps it simple, and yet the result is the same. Yes, you could use an X-Acto knife. I think all of us are familiar with how an X-Acto knife works, right? But this is ultimately our suggestion on how to cut these out. We love to keep it simple. This is very effective and it does the trick. Now, of course, then we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing with our other design. So I had the larger one, medium, smaller here, if I remember correctly. So similar, I'm gonna be like, okay, well then this one I might cut here, right? And again, depending on the patterns and so forth that you're using, whether you cut it or not, usually when you lay it back down, add a little adhesive where you cut across does the trick. All right, and of course I would ink these. A little bit of inking will help on the inside and outside of these designs. Such a fun, cute. Okay, so I could continue, right, with the stripe, but because I had these over here layered with each other, I really don't think I want all this to be striped. Well, luckily I have the green, so I can actually, again, because they're laying over each other right there, I know I can snip in about right there and then start my cut. And then in this case, I probably would choose to have that green as the pattern that's on the top. So this one I would probably flip over and have that green right there. Okay, so then of course you would do the same thing. So this is why I recommended, one, it's a very efficient use of your paper to use double-sided paper. If you're using quite a few of the shapes and sizes of the ovals on a 2-page spread, for example, it's just a very efficient use of your paper. Yet maybe you would want, you know, you could choose to go, I didn't include this one in, so that's fine. He'll go in my scraps. But it works, right? But if I wanted these to be blue and orange, then I may choose to pull in another piece of card stock or something like that and trace those other two designs out of a pattern like this so that I could have a cream and a red just to give a little bit more different variety to the page. So you could choose to cut these two sizes out together here, which would give you these two. And if you wanted to take the two sizes down, cut those out. The only difference is you would have this scrap in the inside. Hopefully that makes sense, right? But you could see that with that one double-sided, as long as both patterns of that works, I feel like you can really spread that paper quite efficiently using the oval set. And again, keep it simple. If you like all of them being, especially when you add a little bit of inking, if they're all the same pattern, that still works. Actually, I think the stripe is really cute in this case. Not often do I go for that personally, but in this case, it actually quite works. So that is a close look at how to trace and cut out the ovals. Can't wait to see what you create with this set. If you have any questions, email us at support@kiwilane.com, and we will talk to you guys soon.